Okay, so as promised, here's my mounting routine. Please don't get distracted because the supports look a bit different on my machine than on yours. Mine is the first generation of the StringMaster Deluxe. Also, I'm not using a load spreader at the 6 o'clock position. First of all, I start with just positioning the racket, making sure that it's really in the middle, and then just tightening the main supports very lightly so that the racket is still able to move up and down easily. And then basically what I do, first of all, I make sure that the side supports are maxed out so that the play in the mechanics is gone, so full outside. And then I start just closing the side supports, basically the low ones. First of all, only to make sure that the racket gets at the right height, and also allowing the racket to self-center a bit between the two arms so that it's finding the symmetrical position. Same on the other side. Just as said, very lightly, make sure that all the points are touching. So, and now you can already see that I haven't tightened the main supports at all. They're really loose at the moment. So what I do next is then I just go around one more time and make sure that I tighten the main supports, that up to a point where you can feel a certain resistance. You shouldn't see any massive stretch in the frame, but at least you should feel a certain resistance on the knob when you turn it. Next up, I'll go to the bottom side supports, tighten them again until you feel a significant resistance on the knob, on the wheel. And yeah, basically we just continue with the upper ones, doing the same. Just tighten them. Don't be scared. It takes a lot of pressure to actually twist or warp the frame with force coming from these supports. What you can do is to make sure that all the frames are really, the supports are really applying tension or pressure on the frames. You can go on each of them, just trying to push them apart, and they shouldn't move away from the frame if you do that. If you can feel that one support is slightly doing it, so you can bring it away from the frame, just don't be scared. Again, just tighten it a little bit more. So the frame should be sitting safely inside. And once you've done that, because you've slightly compressed the frame from this side, so again very slightly, you will feel that maybe the main supports have come loose again a bit. In this case, it's not even the case, so you can still feel some resistance on the wheel. And just compare this. If I wiggle it on the shaft, the racket is not moving in a circular way inside the frames. And that's the position you should try to achieve, because the supports can only transmit some force to the frame when they're actually in touch with it. As soon as there is some play between the frame and the supports, the racket is moving freely and you have completely uncontrollable forces during the stringing process when the tensions are applied. Okay, just again, if I wiggle it, of course you can see that it's moving up and down, maybe a quarter of a millimeter here, but in a circular way. You can turn the machine with it, the turntable, that is fine, but the racket should not be able to move around here. And in maximum, I'd say that I've stretched the head slightly, but I guess that's, or at least the measurement I do, it's between around 1 millimeter maximum, maybe 1.5 millimeters, which is not a big deal. It's way worse if the supports are not in touch with the frame and cannot transmit the force. I'll be stringing the racket, and also I will show you quickly the gap that I get after I've pulled the first mains. There will be a slight gap, but as you will be seeing, it's ever so slightly, maybe it's 0.5 millimeter maximum.